Both Bitcoin and the SP 500 are at major resistance areas heading into FOMC this week. Let's take a look at the charts so we can see how to navigate the week ahead. In my last weekly outlook, we were looking for a completion of Y as an ending diag and the correction to be coming to an end, with the invalidation of the count at the high. While we got the initial nice reaction, it has since then continued to push higher, but on less volume and less strength. While we're getting super close to invalidation point I mentioned last time, but again, we're seeing less strength and less volume on this leg, with this last rejection coming at the hands of the upper channel. So I think we're seeing a multi-zigzag correction playing out, because this whole move has been a series of overlapping moves which imply it's corrective. Now, just like Toots mentioned in the last weekly outlook and mine the week before that, we aren't death gripping our bias. If market structure does break, then we'll look to take advantage of it. But so far, the characteristics of this correction since the high has been correctives breaking the channel, like Toots mentioned, as well as those pushes to or beyond the 707s I talked about. Now, where I'd probably flip my bias to take advantage of the upside is if we can break the trend line and get above that 4160-ish level on a high time frame close. If that does happen, I can see us getting a move into that 4400 level, and then we'll have to see how it's developed to see if there's any more clues that we can work with. Now let's take a look at Bitcoin. In my last weekly outlook, we were at 21,175, and I said I think in the immediate degree we'll see a pullback into support to close the CME gap before moving higher to that 23K target. While we only got a partial fill of the CME gap, we got that pullback into support and then ran to our target at 23K. So now let's take a look at the most recent price action to see where we might be headed. If you like the content so far, make sure to subscribe and hit the like button, because we do weekly outlook for Bitcoin and the SP 500 every Monday to help you navigate the week ahead, as well as midweek videos on different traditional and crypto assets. Now, there is some trickery at the top, but we reached our target, and while there is the potential for one more high, we are seeing divergence across timeframes in both volume and strength. So I think we're going to get a pullback into that 20K level, but we need to be very careful here, because while this move off the low looks great, this is a huge turning point. We're going to want to watch how this unfolds. If we reach our 20K level in a three-wave move, that means we're likely to see some upside continuation for our potential fit. But if it comes down in 5, we'll look to get behind a retrace to target lower. I do want to warn you guys, this week is likely going to have some screwiness around the FOMC, so expect some volatility around that event, and don't be surprised if we have some Darth Maul candles. Now, the reason why it's so important to watch how this micro develops is because we're in a heavy resistance area I mentioned at the beginning of this video. If we get a surprise from the Fed, we could potentially be putting in a macro pivot for both the SP 500 and Bitcoin. But if you want to learn more about our macro outlook, check out Toots' last Bitcoin and ES long form deep dive.